Hello guys, and welcome to another video. Today we will go over 10 ways you can work faster in Core. These will be small tips and tricks that you can use to save time here and there. The first trick I want to go over is drag and drop custom properties. So with asset references in Core objects, you can just drag it into here or here to create a custom property from it. This can save lots of time. You can just rename it if you need to. You can also do the same thing with core objects and just drag them into here. As you can see, we now have it as a custom property. This may not be useful for people who are hard coding custom properties, as you would still have to rename them. But if you have a script that uses the get custom properties method, which is this, then it does speed up the time it takes to add tons of custom properties quite a bit. The next two things I want to go over are I guess one thing is the keybinds. I'll combine it into one thing. I was originally going to make it two, but it'd be easier as one. So, one thing you do want to memorize is the keybinds for translation, rotation, and scale. Q, E, R are to easily change the modes, and this is going to be very useful if you're building or keep hashing. You don't want to have to keep moving your mouse back and forth. There's also keybinds for snap to grid. You can disable it and enable it very quickly. This takes a little bit of time to memorize, like a few hours, a few minutes I guess, but it does speed up the process a lot in the long run. Another thing, I wouldn't really say this speeds up the process, but I don't know where else to put this. So if you right click and have an external editor, but if you want to open in the default editor, you can just do right click and edit script and it'll open in the default editor. Not really a tip to speed up process, but it's a tip in case you need to use the built-in editor for whatever reason if the external editor isn't working, which happens in some cases. Another thing is that have you ever happened to put a script in with the custom properties on it and then realizing you have a different script with these custom properties or something like that? An easy process you can do is just grab the new script you want to have and just drag and drop it into the script. You can also do the same thing for meshes with the mesh thing. So if you want to switch to this type, you can just drag and drop it without having to manually replace it. It saves a bit of time in cases, and for me at least, it saves time every once in a while. You can also drag and drop materials onto things quite easily. I'm sure that's a thing lots of people know, but for people who don't know it, this could definitely be very useful. As opposed, you can also just drag and drop it into some material slots as well. Other keybind that I find very useful that saves me a lot of time is if you ever need to put two things together and group them. So instead of just doing what I just did, which takes a bit of time, you can just press Ctrl G to create a group there. And you can create a single one, and you can just create a group empty here as well. You can easily rename it. Another quick thing is you can press F2 to quickly change the name of something to whatever you want. If you need to copy paste items, a very quick way to do that, as opposed to pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V, is you can just do Ctrl W. This duplicates it without actually copying it to your clipboard. This is very useful in case you have something else to copy to your clipboard and you just need to quickly duplicate something. You just quickly do it without having to worry about it messing up whatever else you have in your copy paste. Another thing, this doesn't really show off too well, but if you have a big messy hierarchy and you select something then accidentally deselect it, you can right click, go to last selected hierarchy objects and just click on that to go back to there. You can also do the same thing with assets. So I have this selected, but then I come back over here or something. I can go to last selected assets and have pop back up again. It's pretty useful things I would say, and it's definitely useful sometimes. Another thing is if you're trying to optimize your game, and you need to see how many objects are below a certain object, it would take a long time to count all of this. So instead what you can do is you can just right click and do count objects under selected object, and it will give you this back. Copy it and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty useful, and it saves quite a lot of time if you have a big mess of hierarchy and you have something like a, let's say, building. And one method is to delete it and do that, or you can just, that method just sort of very slow deleting it, putting it back, but you can just do this and you have everything here. The thing is, if you ever need to send a Lua script or something to someone, you can do the templates, you can do export or export as PNG, and on scripts you can do show and export. You can do show and export as well and just send the Lua file. This is a lot easier than having to actually go into the data folder. And it's also very useful if you're trying to access the folder. You can just go back here, and if you need to access the temp files for the code storage, still pretty useful, and definitely recommend using this if you ever need to. So you can just right click and show and explorer. Back to here, and you have the game folder as well. Another quick thing is if you ever need to move an object, like say it's weirdly positioned and it's, actually let's move this to do that. So if we have this as a Z of like, it's the higher can't reach, do anything, you don't want to move your camera either, you can just do object and drop to floor. And now it's down here. Yeah, pretty simple thing that allows you to move your object back down to here. Before you can move this down and re-drop this to floor. And of course, it's actually the keybind for it as well. And just to end. Although it is a bit of pain to reach over to there, to that key. But as you can see, this keybind works as well, and it's definitely very useful when you drop something down. Another quick thing is creating objects using the numpad or the numbers keys. So it actually doesn't work with numpad, I don't think, but it has 0 to create a spawn point, 9 for triggers, 7 for spotlight, 6 and 5 for a, sorry, 6 doesn't work, 5 for row text, 2 for your focus bar, and 1 for text box. These take a bit of time to memorize. I don't have the UI ones memorized. I just know that you can use 0 and 9 for a trigger and a spawn point, and it helps out a lot, and it definitely can speed up the process. Put a spawn point down, you can do this. Put it up too high, you can just drop to floor using end, if it's gonna work. I just can't actually drop the, that does work. I'm not sure why it wasn't working that time. Pressing a bit weird. Anyways, you can use those buttons to create stuff, figures, and everything you need. And E to rotate it, that kind of stuff. Hope this video helped you out, showing some quick ways you can work a bit faster in the core editor, and a few different tricks and tips. And anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and have a great day.